Today I'm going to show you my new Mooer GE300. The Mooer GE300 unit is an upgrade for my live setup. As you may know, I was using the Mooer GE200 in the past with my small live setup, and I have to say I was very satisfied with the sound I got from the Mooer GE200. There were only a couple of limitations which made me think about buying the GE300, and I did it. And today I would like to show you the flexibility of this unit. Not so much the tones. I will make another video where I will show you my tones, but I would like to give you an overview how flexible this thing is, because it can do a lot. So there you have it. And as you can see, you have more knobs than the G200 has. The unit is bigger, heavier, and it doesn't move around. It has much more connections. And I will start with these knobs here on the left side. These are the volume controls. You have an XLR output, stereo output, where you can control the overall output volume with this knob. You have quarter-inch outputs here, where you can control the volume here, and you have a dedicated control for the headphones out. And these are basically the controls for change the parameters. And if you start the unit, then maybe you will see this screen. If you hit the display, then you can see the effects chain. You have this chain here, which is longer than the G200. Here you have the synth block, which the 200 doesn't have. Then you have FXA comp, wah, FXA comp, distortion, amp cap, noise gate, tone cap, EQ, FXB, delay, reverb, and volume. And you can access each of these blocks with a dedicated button here. You can see which are currently activated and which are not activated. And I will show you later how or which effects you can choose from, but before I would like to talk about the overall setting, the global settings. You have a global EQ here for each output. For example, this is the XLR. You have a 3-band EQ and a low and a high cut. It's turned on, as you can see. And of course also for the quarter-inch output for the headphone. And this is something which the G200 didn't have, and this is something which I was missing, because low and high cut is very effective in a live situation. When you play loud volumes, you want to use the low and high cut. And also a global EQ is very helpful in a scenario where you are playing to different front of house systems, which I don't do, but anyway, it helps. So you can adjust here the global EQ. And also in the system menu, you can adjust the input volume here, which the G200 could also do, I think. If I mistake something, I don't have everything learned by heart what the G200 can do, but I'm just telling from my memory. The output, you can set effect, which is the usual output mode. You can also, if you're seeing these numbers 1, 2, 3, and that means you can adjust these parameters with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knobs here. So 1 is here controlling the level, output level, and 2 the effects output mode, dry, effect, dry. That is basically, I think, if you're running, for example, you want to record both the dry guitar signal and also the effect signal for reamping. And sender, of course, also for the outputs. And you have something where you can control the USB out audio. Same thing here, left and right, you can choose effect, or maybe the dry signal, I guess, direct signal. And what else? I didn't look into these. Okay, you can choose if you're setting the tap tempo globally or just for the preset where you're in. Screen brightness. Okay. Okay. This is something for the parameters. You could, if you don't want the settings to change when you switch from one block to another. Reset. I don't want to do this now. And Footswitch. So here you can choose from different modes how to use the foot switches. Here you can see with these foot switches you're choosing the banks up and down, and then usually in mode 1 you have here the banks. You have here 4 patches within bank 2, which I'm currently in, and here we have 4 knobs assigned to do some controls, so to maybe activate some stomps. This is mode 1, the default mode. I'm using mode 2, which is just I'm using all these things as a control buttons to activate something or deactivate something in my current patch. Because my approach is to use one patch for one song. The patch covers different scenes, if you will. This doesn't offer scenes like the Fractal Audio products, but you can do similar things, like you could choose which effects will be activated or deactivated when hitting a specific control. I'll show that later. In mode 3 you can just use what is it? This is maybe choosing 2 banks here. You can use, or you have access to 8 patches. So let's leave it there. These are the system settings. That is, as I said, very powerful, because you can do different things with the GE300, similar things with the GE300, but the GE300 does have only 3 buttons. So there I had one control button where I could activate, so I could switch basically between 2 sounds, and also this is a little bit wider. In the G200 I always, or sometimes I hit 2 buttons occasionally, or also these things when changing something with my foot. So this feels way more comfortable when using. What else? Yeah, the expression pedal is usually I'm using it for volume, which is a dedicated block in the chain here, the final block, volume. It's currently activated. There you can set the position where it starts, and as you can see, it doesn't go up to 100. It's a little bit strange, but what else? Yeah, minimum maximum volume. That's it, and that is working for this patch. Also, if you activate the expression mode of this pedal, which is currently turned off, if you put it hard, it has a kind of a sensor, then it switches from volume mode to expression mode, and then you can control something like a wah frequency, or you can assign it also to change different settings from different blocks simultaneously. So, for example, you could raise the delay and also reduce the reverb amount a little bit with the same action, and maybe give a little bit of an input drive. But this is something which is a little bit annoying, at least to program it here, and I didn't manage to program this with the PC editor properly, so I don't use it. I just use it as a volume pedal. It's working. Also the GE300 offers this possibility, but also there it was kind of annoying to get it like you want it. So dialing in that control of different parameters is a little bit annoying. What else? Okay, let's go to the effects chain here. As I said before, these are the effects, and you can have access to each block here by dedicated control. And it starts with the synth block, which I don't use, so I cannot tell you anything about that. The wah block is something which I don't use because I'm not Kirk Hammett, but you can choose from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 10 wahs. And you can see the controls. As far as I remember, here are a little bit more options than in the GE300. You have the effects A, and here you can choose for 41 effects. Also, you can use it as an equalizer. As you can see, Studio EQ, which is very powerful. 3-band graphic EQ, parametric EQ, and you can see here the white ones. These are the controls which are currently addressed by the 5 knobs here. And if you want to change the this row, then you have to push the button, and suddenly these are selected and you can control them here, these knobs. It's very comfortable, I have to say, with these 5 knobs. You have to, at first it feels a little bit awkward because you have to always think which knob is, but if you do it, after I did it maybe 1 hour or 2 hours, then it was, I was used to it, and then from then on it feels very comfortable. So it doesn't have a touch screen, but I think they made quite a good choice here as far as the user experience, the ergonomic factor is concerned. Yeah, slow gear. I don't know what is that. Phasers, phases, flangers, jet flanger, tremolo, optical tremolo, fixing vibrato, rotary, modern. So I will show you these sounds in another video. But as you can see, you have basically everything here in the block, even some drives, some EQs, harmony, which you have in other blocks too. So you could use maybe 2 or 3 drives, the FX A, FX B, and you have a dedicated overdrive block here, which is the next. In the overdrive, you can choose from 31 different overdrives. You have everywhere the same controls, bass, middle, and treble control, which don't have in the G200, which was also another factor which was annoying to me, because in the G200 you had only the ability to control the tone. You had a tone knob, but you could not just bass, middle, and treble separately. They sound okay in my opinion. Also the effects, some are better than others. I had a little bit of an issue with the choruses, but finally I got every effect I needed, which basically chorus, a little bit phaser and tremolo, vibrato is nice. So as I said, I will show you the sounds in another video. Here the Riot, Sur Riot, is quite a nice, good sounding overdrive, and also my go-to, the 808, which I was also using in the G200. Tone-wise, this thing sounds a little bit different. I say a little bit better, but I don't know if it's really the algorithms or it's just the flexibility here, because you have way more ways of tweaking here, so that can also be the reason for better results. Also in the amp section, as you can see here, how many do we have? Okay, you have a shitload of slots for additional amps. I think it ends here, maybe around 100 somewhere, 107 or something, 8, which are coming from factory. These are models I think you can download from the homepage. I did it, and there are way more amps than in the G200. As you can see, you have more control abilities here. For example, you have gain, bass, middle, treble. You have mode, original, or what else is it? Distinct? I don't know. You can choose here from tubes, power amp tubes, which sound very different from each other. It's a little bit surprising to me. Preamp out, I think you didn't have that in the G200. Bias and the master volume. So yeah, the amps are quite flexible, quite good sounding, but the most important block for me is the cap block. And in the G200 you had only 10 free slots for third-party IRs. Here you have, I don't know how much, but for me it's enough. I don't know, 50 or 100. Yeah, that's I loaded own hammer IRs here, which I'm using, and as you can see here we have the ability for low and high cut setting. And that is something which I was really missing in the G200, because that is so helpful. Usually you want to set a low and a high cut immediately depending on the IR you're using, and that is very easy, I think, for a modeling unit to be offered, but they didn't do it in the G200. That was kind of a bummer. Noise gate is very effective. It doesn't cut the notes when you don't want them to be cut. I don't know how they do it, but it's working very well. It's one of the best noise gates I've ever experienced. We have also 3 modes here, which I'm using the noise killer because it was working and I didn't change anything. You have to make sure, of course, that the threshold is high enough. Tone capture is something which I still didn't try. It's basically some mechanism to capture the tone of another unit, like in the Kemper or in the XFX tone match block. But I'm quite satisfied with the results here, which I got. The EQ is of course one of my favorites, because you can choose from 8 different EQs. You have a very flexible studio EQ here with a 3-band parametric, and low, mid, high, 4-band maybe. And here you have the high and the low cut, and other so it's maybe, 6-band. I don't know if I count correctly, but it's it's enough for me, I have to say. And also some other EQs which are addressing different fixed bands, as you can see. And here's a 10-band graphic EQ if you like these things, and also one which is mimicking the Mesa 5-band graphic EQ you find on the Mark amps, which is here. And I have to say they work really good. Depending on the amp you have to find out the right one, but yeah, it led to good results. And this is something which was also a bummer in the G200. The EQ there was lacking something. It was not that flexible. You had a 3-band I think parametric, and some also 5-band graphic EQs, but they're not always working. And as I said, you can also use additional EQs in the effects A and also in the effects B block, which is basically here effects B, and it's the same effects again like in the effects A. And that's something which is very helpful, because as I said, I'm using within one patch different scenes. And for example, I'm using here, I'm using a clean tone, Well, as you can see, the amp is deactivated and the cab is deactivated. And here I'm using the compressor and I'm doing the tone shape here, but also I could use another EQ here for the clean tones if I want to, because I have the ability here, maybe FX B, which is still not used. Then if I switch to the lead, then I could use another EQ. And that is the way I use it. As you can see here, this is the setting of the, or here you can assign the functions to the controls. And currently, this blue one, as you can see here, I'm setting it to latching, which means that if you push it once, then it's changing. You don't have to leave your foot there. It's set to momentary, or how is it called? Yes. And of course you can choose the color and the function here with number 3. Function is tap tempo, tuner, looper, mute. What else? Oh, what did I do now? Nothing which I wanted to do. Okay. So yeah, I want to use it to change some functions. Sub patch. And yeah, here you can assign which functions, up to 7 I think, are activated. So basically it says here the delay block is either activated or deactivated, and also some other blocks. And well, let's go to the red one here, which changes a little bit more. The red one here. You can see this deactivates the compressor, the FXA block, also the overdrive, amp, cab, reverb, or activates it if it's currently deactivated. And that is here the case. So as you can see, if I push it, then suddenly 3 or 4 yellow lights turn on or off. And yeah, so I'm using different scenes, if you will, in this patch. And yeah, as I said, you can also use it a different way, that you can access up to 8 patches within with these 8 knobs here, and or also you could choose from 4 patches and use 4 as a controls. So that is very flexible, and for my for most situations where I'm playing, at least for every situation I can imagine, it's more than enough. So yeah, at the moment, as far as flexibility is concerned, I'm quite satisfied with this thing. Also, it's not very big and not very heavy, but it feels solid. Also, the pedal looks a little bit like plastic, but it's metal, I think. And yeah, the sound is also very nice, I think. It doesn't feel that dynamic like the XFX, I have to say. But other than that, it's yeah, it was a good choice to get it, I think. Nice upgrade, and I definitely recommend the few bucks more if you were playing around with the G200, or if you are thinking about getting a Mooer product. Definitely recommend this. It's not that much more expensive than the G250, I think, or the G300 Lite, which doesn't have the pedal. But here we have the overall solution for, I think, 90%, or for me 100% of the situations, the live situations you were in. And yeah, I hope this helps you to get an impression how this thing works, or how it is yeah, used. And yeah, please check out my other videos where I will show you detailed the sounds I'm using. But for today, that's enough, and yeah, I hope to see you soon. Bye.